So if you're wanting a Seiko diver in the current lineup, but you don't want to spend the inflated prices that we are kind of complaining about with Seiko, you kind of want to look in this era right here. This is the model you want to look for, right? Maybe not this exact colorway, but this is the sweet spot. We have the 4R movement, because a lot of people complain about issues with the 6R. I think they mostly have been sorted, but the general performance and accuracy and reliability and everything out of the 4R has kind of outperformed the 6R in the overall scheme of things. So this has the 4R. It is priced at $650. That's the current retail. Again, depends on when you watch this. If you watch them 3 years down the road from when I make this, then it's probably going to be $735 or something. But right now it's $650. You can maybe still get some discounts. Reach out to Trifecta. That's where this watch is on loan from. I'll put all that information down below in the description, as well as a direct link for this watch. So you could just buy it right off their website, put in a code, and hopefully get a deal. Or you could reach out with the direct contact information I put down below. So you could reach out to Jake or Mark and tell them I sent you, and you could have a chat and make sure you get the right watch that you're after. But I think this is definitely one of the top contenders when it comes to the Seiko dive watches in the current lineup in the more affordable side. Unless you want to go with like a 5KX, which you can get those there as well. Those are, going to be in the $300 range, I think. But it's not a real dive watch, right? It's a dive looking watch. Doesn't have the screw down crown. Doesn't have the 200-meter water resist that this has. This has all of those things. Has a nice 120-click bezel. They have cool colorways. This is a Padi special edition in emerald green. Has a really nice shape to it. Nice bracelet. Still the classic Seiko clasp. 4 micro adjust, simple fold over, and is just classic Seiko. It's not a cushion case, but more of a more angular type, modern samurai type case. So the case size on this too is a bit of a Goldilocks. It'll still work for a lot of wrists. I measure at 41.65. That's at the bezel. So 41.65, 41.5 essentially. The lug to lug, I measure at 49 millimeter, and that's all the way out to the edge here. So 49 is me being, all the way to the extreme. It's probably more like 48.5. The thickness, this thing's thin, 12.75 millimeter. And then it has a flat, hard Lex crystal. I know some people are going to gripe about that. Blah, blah, blah. It's sapphire, sapphire, sapphire. Don't listen to that noise. My old Monster is hard Lex. My old SKX is hard Lex. The SKX has no scratches on it. The Monster, which I've owned over 10 years, has a couple of scuffs on it, and I'm not fixing it because it doesn't change the way I can read the watch. The hard Lex is going to be more impact resistant. It is a little more prone to potentially getting scratched versus sapphire, but hard Lex is just different specs and everything like that. You don't always have to have sapphire. That's kind of not logical to think that way. We can argue down in the comments if you want, but hard Lex is totally fine. It has been for decades. 20 millimeter lug opening, and then this really nice bracelet tapers down to 18 millimeter. I believe you have, it's hard to tell, but I think it's pin and collar. If you've sized one of these, chime in down in the comments. It looks like it might be pin and collar. That's kind of tricky, but I have a video clearly showing you how to do that. Maybe I need to update it. But it's not a deal breaker, you guys. You can do it, trust me. You have a 6.5 millimeter screw down crown. It's the machined and then knurled in the same fashion that the bezel is. So very good looking colorway on this one. Typically the Padis are more blue colorway. This one is in the emerald green with some waves on it and some gradient and stuff like that. It's just very good looking. The date's kind of tucked away in between the 4 and 5 on a level plane, so that date is going to be legible if you got those young eyes. I don't have them, so I would almost probably treat this watch as a no date. I don't even know if I'd set the date because I can't hardly read it. I mean, I can right now without my readers. I can read it, and I'm probably a foot away. I can read it. It's not terrible. But I'd almost rather just have a no date. But Seiko doesn't do that. Most people, turns out, most people on their watches, whether it's a dive watch or a field watch or whatever, actually prefer to have the date. I'm not in agreement with that in most cases. I have a lot of watches and I like to just quick set the time and go on. So, and I always feel weird if I don't set the date if it has a date. So if you have a date on there, that's one more thing I have to do. Not a deal breaker. Most watches are date watches, so it is what it is. On the back, on the case back, it does say special edition. You can kind of see that down below. In my many years of collecting Seiko, limited editions are great, but sometimes the harder, more sought after ones are actually special editions. So typically, from my understanding, is Seiko will do a special edition and they'll run it for a year and then they usually drop it. Other than in cases where like the Padi Turtle, where it was a massive hit, they brought it back. So being that it's not a limited edition, that gives them the, authority or ability to like just release it again. And they did that. So like if it happened with this one, I don't think it will be that big of a hit like the Padi Turtle was. They could just bring it out again. It's just a special edition. It's not limited. So, and there's other colorways too. Let me pop this on wrist because I've talked way too much about this. This is the SRPL53, in case I didn't mention. And I was wearing my Men Wear Pink Islander again. Pretty fun watch. It's kind of, again, Seiko inspired. So if you're wearing a bunch of watches that are inspired by Seiko, maybe you should just buy a Seiko at some point. Here you go. So great Goldilocks size, like I said, 41.5 by essentially 48.5 and thin. For a lot of Seiko divers are 13.5 millimeter-ish. This one only being 12.75. It's definitely thinner, and you can tell that on wrist. This thing would look great on some different offerings of straps and everything, but honestly, the bracelet really pairs up nicely. So I think you get a complete package here for, around that $600 mark. Let me give it a quick blast of the UV light, because this is one thing that a lot of people tend to really appreciate about Seiko is the intensity of the lume, and you definitely have that here with this guy. Great lume. So again, this is available at Trifecta Watches, Lafayette, Indiana. Brick and mortar. If you want to walk in, it's right across from the police department. You can walk right in. Great little shop, hang out, talk to Jake. Mark, he'll show you some magic. Maybe you'll meet Trap Vision there from Trap Vision 3D YouTube channel. Sometimes he stops in there a lot because he's fairly local. Or you can just order online or just call up the crew and tell them I sent you. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next vid.